Hello, I'm Dr. Conor Bell, and I teach Bassoon at West Texas A&M University. This video is to help you prepare Etude number 9 from Milde's concert studies for the 2024-2025 Texas All-State Auditions. This is actually my favorite Etude in the whole book. It's just really evocative. It's a very dramatic, very musical Etude that should be a great vehicle for you to show off your musicality. The worst thing you could do with this Etude is be boring. So while you're working on this one, you might notice that it's in kind of a funny key. We've got 4 sharps. We start on a C sharp. There are all of these double sharps all over the place. Lots of accidentals that you might not be comfortable with yet. So to help you get comfortable with this Etude is in C sharp minor, which is not a very common key. But it's a really beautiful key. It's very haunting, and it fits on the bassoon really nicely if you're familiar with it. So before you even start tackling this Etude, you need to spend a good bit of time practicing scales and arpeggios in C sharp minor. I'd suggest going ahead and teaching yourself the natural minor, which is just the notes that are in the key signature, 4 sharps. The harmonic minor, where you add a sharp on the 7th note of the scale, B sharp in this case, as well as the melodic minor, where you'll have an A sharp and a B sharp going up, and then B natural and A natural going down. If you get really comfortable with those, a lot of the patterns in this will feel more comfortable. Same with just arpeggios in general in C sharp minor, and some of the other less friendly ones that we'll talk about as they come up. Probably the hardest part about this one is starting the first note with confidence. It's hard. The softer you play in the low register, the harder it is to have a clean response, and the sharper you tend to be. So never play it softer than you can reliably. And we'll talk a little bit, but if you work on long tones in the bottom register, maybe put a drone on a C sharp, and just play your low C sharp at a comfortable volume. Get comfortable down there. Maybe take a little less reed in your mouth because we're playing down low. Maybe make sure that it's a good reed and your instrument's in decent shape. Then, once you're comfortable playing it at a comfortable dynamic, start tapering a little bit. How soft can you get without losing the sound? If you get nice and soft, can you then stop the sound and re-enter at that same dynamic level? Can you articulate steady, slow quarter notes at that soft dynamic? Can you do it with rests in between? If you work on that a lot, you will get more comfortable and more accurate in that bottom register. Other things to watch out for here. You should know we have our short C sharp and we have our long C sharp. It's a good time to be friends with both of those. In the second line, measure 5, we have a half note C sharp in the middle octave, and it's a pretty dramatic note. I definitely want to be using the long fingering there. It has more resonance, and you can play it more loudly without overblowing, and it'll just make your life more easy. However, in some of these faster arpeggios or some of the runs, I would default to that shorter C sharp. Use the right tool for the right circumstances. Also, while we're talking about fingerings, remember in the middle octave for F sharps, we do have 2 options for those F sharps. You can either use the pinky or the thumb. Generally speaking, the pinky is more in tune in the middle octave than the thumb is, and so I default to using that pinky for those F sharps all the time that I can. Sometimes that means, though, like in measure 5, I need to precede it by playing the G sharp with my thumb, with that bottom thumb key. Again, it's not something you have to do, but it will set you up for greater success if you're already kind of in tune when you are getting to those notes and just have to make a small alteration. Work on your breaths in this so that you don't interrupt the musical phrase. Sometimes you'll hear in the recording, I take a quick little breath, and other times I take a more full breath, depending on if I'm just topping off the tank in the middle of a phrase to be able to keep going, or if it's a decent spot where I can really take a full breath to last a lot longer. Other things to watch out for in this is really just playing up the drama. Make sure that all of the dynamics are part of your playing and they're really expressive. He doesn't go beyond forte and piano. In fact, all we have in this etude, there are no mezzos, there are no pianissimos, there are no fortissimos. Oh, there's one mezzo forte. How could I miss that in measure 13? You should still have some variety. Not all fortes are equal. Maybe you could mark a forte plus, or you could mark something up to fortissimo, or this is a taper on a note you're comfortable with. Mark it down to pianissimo, pianissimo minus. But find ways to have a lot of drama throughout this etude. I don't think there are any tricks that I'm worrying about with this one. We are stopping the etude in measure 24, adding a big rallentando in the second half of 23 and putting a fermata on the C sharp. It's a shame we don't get to finish the etude, but it does save you from a couple of high C sharps, so we won't complain too loudly about that. Good luck.